Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast, a proud part of the Section 328 family. Follow us on Twitter at CheatersInVRPin. Now, live from ringside, it's Mr. Workrate and JC. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode edition of Cheaters Never Pin. I'm JC, and next to me here at the commentary table of the Theater of the Mind is Mr. Workrate Tom.
Am I the timekeeper today?
I mean, if you want to be.
Do I get to ring the bell?
Yeah. You just do it before the match is actually over. Then they can make fun of you.
I just do it when Earl Hebner tells me to.
All right. Is it before or after he's selling merch in the parking lot?
I'm just following orders.
All right. Well, like I said, this is the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. And today we got good stuff and not so good stuff on the agenda.
That's usually the case.
Ring of Honor's 15th anniversary.
That sounds good.
I watched the TNA reboot.
That sounds bad.
We'll get to that. There's a lot going on in the build to WrestleMania on the Ultimate Thrill Ride.
That sounds possibly good and bad.
Yep. And then the 10 count.
Oh, there's just a variety of things there.
Well,
or just spin the wheel.
As always, I've structured that so it starts good and ends sad.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Something to look forward to?
Right? Because we're talking about professional wrestling. Somebody always dies.
That's true.
Right. We'll get to that.
We need to find a sponsor to the downer segment of the week.
Sponsored by like Cymbalta or something. Here, pop some pills, feel better about it. Cymbalta.
That'll drop another 10 minutes just to do the disclaimers, unless you can speak really fast, JC.
I could pre-record it and just drop it in.
That'd probably give us an opportunity to use the bathroom or go get drinks or something like that.
Right.
Please see a doctor.
Yeah. Go get my prescription refilled. All right. Well, anyway, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/cheatersneverpin.
Do that.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter at cheatersinvrpin.
That'd be great.
You can rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, which we appreciate. So that way it just falls into your phone every week.
That'd be wonderful.
And it's available on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, YouTube, and you can stream it on Spreaker.
You don't have to do all of them. Just pick one. Whatever one you like.
Well, you can do it all and help pad our numbers.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't want to blow space on your phone or anything like that, so...
How much space could this take up?
I don't know. I have an old phone. There's never any space on my phone. I think I have 4 megs.
Jesus. Carrying that star attack, my friend.
It's like, Kia Sarah, leave me alone.
All right. So let's just roll right into it. Well, look at that. 4 minutes into the show, we're actually talking about wrestling. That's a new record.
Woo!
Woo! All right. Ring of Honor's 15th anniversary was this past Friday night, live on pay-per-view. Did you watch any of it, Tom?
I did not.
I
don't have that kind of pay-per-view money.
Yeah.
I pay $9.99 a month for the network.
Yeah, you know me, I paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally did.
Absolutely. Anyway, holy hell, that was a great show. Especially after was the Sunday night before Fastlane? I'm losing track of time.
I think so.
Yes. So to have those two things in 1 week, 15th anniversary, blew it out of the water. I mean, as it should anyway, But
yeah, you're talking about a organization that is like dependent on its work rate and putting together good shows, going up against the B- pay-per-view of half of a promotion.
Right. But there are three kind of major things from this pay-per-view. First, and this was the one I was the major reason I wanted to watch it was Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero Jeff Hardy.
Are you allowed to say that?
I hadn't gotten a cease and desist from that freaking owl.
For now.
But anyway, the Hardys then had to defend the Ring of Honor tag team titles in a triple threat against Roppongi Vice of Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero and the Young Bucks. And it came out earlier in the week that TNA was claiming ownership rights over the Broken gimmick, that it came out the day of the pay-per-view on Friday, that Anthem TNA had sent cease and desist letters to ROH threatening them not to use the Broken gimmick at all, lest there be litigation. And they found lots of good ways to work around it, I thought. So after everybody comes out at first, the young poor Roppongi Vice is just there. So I love Trent and I love Rocky, but I knew they weren't going to win this match. They were just there to eat the pin. But so they're kind of off on the side, and the Young Bucks are crotch chopping, and they get a chance to suck it, and then the Hardys knife edge chop the Young Bucks back with a very suspiciously familiar open arm kind of gesture, very similar to Delete. They're not saying Delete though, but the crowd picked up on it, what they were doing.
It's kind of like the Aldi version of Delete. It's very similar, but it's more affordable.
Backspace. Right. But yes, that's how they got around that. Entrance-wise, it was just blackout and they appeared in the ring. Cool. But that's how they got around. That was the most interesting part of that match, other than Rocky Romero pulling out a sleeve full of thumbtacks to give consecutive lariats to everyone else in the match, which was just a total cringe.
Like, are they all on the outside?
Yes,
like
they were glued to the outside, like a batter's sleeve. It was glued, and he puts it on, and you can see the points of all the freaking thumbtacks sticking out.
I mean, I saw them. I wasn't sure how it was like. Did you put all the thumbtacks like in the sleeve and just kind of push them out, and then hoping to slide your arm in that like some of them didn't flip around in the process? And
no, he thought this through well.
Oh, okay.
It was, and I thought that was going to be the worst part of this match, and it was not. The worst, most gruesome part of this match was when the Young Bucks, other thumbtacks were brought out by Trent, and he left them in the ring after he got super kicked, and the Young Bucks decided to fill his mouth full of the thumbtacks and then super kick him again, and he spit them everywhere.
Well, okay.
I was like, is this, am I watching CZW and no one told me?
Well, I think that's a cruiserweight CCW match.
But yeah, that was interesting. It was a good match. That was a good. There was not a bad match on the show. I would say, to me, at least for my personal taste, the worst match on the show was the big boy 6-man Hoss tag match with War Machine and Davey Boy Smith Jr. versus the Briscoes and a just debuted in Manhattan and wrestling for the first time in Ring of Honor, Bully Ray.
You mean a Bully Ray match isn't going to be full of work rate and...
Man, I just don't care I don't care for anyone in that match too much. So I was just like, oh God, get this over with. I mean, it was fine. It was a fine match, but meh. the Briscoes don't do anything for me since they're awful, terrible, freaking homophobes. And War Machine was the best part of that match. They're always great. But Davey Boy Smith Jr. is just kind of there. And, ooh, look, it's Bully Ray in 2017. And they're now the six-man champions. Because they won those at the TV taping. Spoilers. Because one of the men in the kingdom that was holding the six-man tag matches at the 15th anniversary shattered his leg mid-match.
Nice segue.
Yeah, thank you. Did you see the GIF for the replay of this?
Yes, I did see
that. Oh God, poor TK O'Ryan. He goes for a springboard moonsault off the second rope to the outside. I don't know if he overshot it, or it did look like the barricades were closer. Who knows?
I think there's a little bit of both.
Yeah. But he comes flying off the rope, and when it happens in full speed at first, if you ever go back and watch the show, the first time you see it, you just see his shin smack off the top of the barricade, which you're already like, that's gonna suck. And he's down, and everyone's down. You can see everybody kind of start to panic, and that's when you know there's an issue.
Yeah.
So we go to the slow motion replay, and as his left shin makes contact with the top of this barricade, you see his foot slowly wrap around the back, while the upper part of his leg is wrapping around the front. You know, like when your tibia and your fibula both break.
That's generally not a good thing.
Oh, not as bad as Luger snapping his leg, or I'm sorry, Sid Vicious snapping his leg. But
thanks for that reminder.
You're welcome. That's one of my favorites. But oh God, poor guy. And then apparently goes to the hospital. They set it and offer him Tylenol.
Well, it is highly respected by most hospitals. So.
His tweet after he was at the hospital was like, "Man, I'm pissed. They just cut off my new Ric Flair socks." It's like, all right, you're a trooper. Then, of course, the most important part of the night at the Ring of Honor 15th anniversary was the winner-take-all match for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Christopher Daniels getting what is presumed to be his last chance at the Ring of Honor title against Adam Cole, baby! Because that's the only way. I think you have to say it that way.
I think it's law.
I think it is. And he finally won, man.
I popped hard for that. I mean,
God, I'm so thrilled.
Again, not actually having seen I wasn't watching it live or anything like that, but when it came across my feed, I got so excited because, I mean, not only am I a Christopher Daniels fan, but I have a friend who's actually goes back a while with him, went to high school with him and everything like that. And I mean, he tells so many stories about how nice he is, and how dedicated he's been to. I mean, obviously you can tell he's been dedicated because he's been doing this for so long, but
15 years probably.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked before about the overuse of the "You deserve it" chant. There's one that actually it applies to.
Yeah. Yeah, I was freaking thrilled for it. And the way they executed the finish was awesome. Get a ref bump. Frankie Kazarian, who the previous week, I believe, on ROH TV, it all kind of blends together, had appeared to have turned on Christopher Daniels and joined the Bullet Club. Foot life. Comes down after the ref bump, and you're like, all right, he's coming out to help Cole. Here we go. Shows up, grabs the belt, gets ready to hand it to Cole, goes, nah, throws it back out of the ring, flips him off, and leaves. Yes.
Ripped off the shirt.
Had the Christopher Daniels Destiny shirt that he had made up for that night under it. That's right. It was so good. And then, of course, Christopher Daniels wins after, I think, 3 consecutive best moonsault evers, 3 or 4. And babyface locker room clears. Everybody comes out to celebrate. They give him both the original Ring of Honor strap and the current one. It was really, really cool. Really fitting to see a story which not intentionally built over 15 years. But certainly built that way since the what was the name of the tournament they just had? The Anniversary tournament where he earned the shot. Decade of Excellence or something?
Yeah.
Something like that. Man. Yeah, it was one of those moments that I don't follow Ring of Honor super close. I'm not super into it. I watch it because I enjoy it because it's good wrestling and I'm going to watch good wrestling. But the story that was told, the promo he cut earlier in the week, I think they put it on their YouTube and on all their social channels, was straight fire, talking about how much he needed this and how much it meant to him, and this is all he needed in life right now. And I couldn't help but think the whole time watching this, how come they can take and build this story over the course of, I think it's essentially been a month since Daniels won that tournament, to tell a story based in the history of Daniels being with the company and Cole being with the company. How come they can tell that story in the course of a month over 4 hours of incredibly disjointed television? God bless Ring of Honor. But WWE can't do it in the 300 hours they're on every week.
Because WWE is short attention span theater.
I get that, but you built this in a month with just references to the history to things. Like, people have the network. Like, tell the story and be like, you want to really get into this. Here's some clips, but go to WWE Network and check this out.
And they've toyed around with that a little bit. They've put packages together in like when they first did the Owens Sami Zayn thing, they put packages together to kind of build that original build, especially when it was supposedly their last match ever, that type of thing. And they do that they do that decently well, at least they used to on the NXT level. But yeah, for the main roster, just the way everything goes, it's constant trying to get I don't know if it's the social media mentions or things like that. It's constantly trying to get the quick pop, so that you can't have that mediocre match in there or like that lower level guys. You got to have the hit factor to get things talking. So it's ADHD TV.
Yeah. They always talk about creating moments. And that's what you're alluding to. Is that It's got to be a series of moments. The past does not matter. Because I can guarantee you, I won't say rumor, but the belief or rumor that's floating around right now about maybe Finn versus Joe at WrestleMania is a thing that's going to happen. Do you think they're going to show any of their NXT feud in the lead up to that? No, Cole will be like, man, they fought in it. Or Graves probably will be like, man, I saw him have some good wars in NXT. The end.
Yeah, they'll turn to him and they'll go, Corey, you've seen these two fight before.
Yeah, and it was crazy. The end.
Yeah.
Move on to Snickers plug. But, yeah, that was just one thing that occurred to me, and your reasoning is exactly kind of what I came up with, too, that it's just like... But when you do it, like I said, I don't follow it super close, but it hooked me in so tight, and I loved that match and that pay-per-view because of that Friday night. Anyway, Ring of Honor 15th anniversary. If you can watch it, watch it. It was good. I didn't know if there'd be
yes.
We had this whole bit going of you responding with one word if I left an opening. I didn't know if that was going to keep going all night.
Uh-huh.
There we go. All right, Tom, I watched something else you didn't watch.
Well, you can't really blame me for this one, can you?
I don't. I blame myself for watching it. So I thought, in the spirit of being a professional wrestling fan, that, you know what? TNA's been through a lot. And they got new owners. And it's a bright new future. And they got a freaking out, man. I'm going to watch them. Tom. It's 2 hours of my life I'm never getting back. I don't think I've ever regretted anything as much in my life as watching that 2 hours of Impact last week. It was awful.
But they had Alberto Del Rio.
Oh, God. So, okay, fine. I'll freaking start there. Yeah, they had Alberto El Patron debut, brought in by new freaking king of the podcasts. Help me with the name that I completely just blanked. Bruce Pritchard, who's apparently involved with freaking Impact now.
Because he loves you.
God, just blow my goddamn brains out, Tom. So he comes out, basically challenges Lashley for the title, while EC3 stands there looking like a fucking idiot. They have a match that ends in a dusty finish, and Patron just leaves with the title. And then they release a YouTube video today where they're like, "No, you got to give it back." And he leaves it. He leaves it on the title, and he leaves the title on the table and leaves. Holy shit, Tom! How is it this hard, Tom? Tell me.
I have no explanation for you. I mean,
and then to make matters worse, the whole night. So as if Josh Matthews isn't bad enough, right? They bring out Borash to be the third commentator alongside Josh Matthews and DePope, who's just brilliant on his own. Because, Borash comes out and cuts this promo about, oh, yeah, man, new ownership wants change, and they're sick of you disrespecting the sport and disrespecting these people, to which Josh Matthews is like, I commentated at WrestleMania. I've commentated all over the world. These people are here for free. I don't care about them. I'm like, whoa. And he's like, you know what? I sat under the learning tree of JR. Borash goes, I'm friends with JR. He thinks you're an arrogant prick. Now, the whole promo these two have before the matches start, when they're just out there, it was entertaining. I'm going to give them that. But the fact that for the full 2 hours of this show, these two just bickered like school children about each other. Oh, on top of every match. Screw calling matches, dude. No. There's a knockout match that comes up at Siena with a debuting Rachel Ellering, brand new talent who we're trying to build up in this new era of this new Impact. And they do nothing but bicker between each other.
So it's Nitro.
Oh, God, it's worse, dude.
Nitro had 3 commentators that just talked to each other the entire time while a cruiserweight match would go on.
This is worse, man. I can't, and it's been a long time since I watched Nitro and gone back and watched any of it. But dude, this was the worst thing I've ever seen. And then at one point, Borash is talking about, you're an insult to great commentators like Gordon Soley. And Josh Matthews goes, I've never heard of Gordon Soley before. And I'm like, fuck off. Like, that's just, why would you even write that line or say that line? It doesn't even make any sense, dude. If you hung out with JR, you've heard of fucking Gordon Soley. Like,
you're just solely playing for heel heat there.
Yeah, it was just
that's not even heel heat. That's just a troll move.
Oh God, it was just so atrocious, dude. And then, oh God, I'm scrolling through this recap, and I'm like having PTSD. Then they have, when Pritchard comes out, he cuts this promo about TNA used to be great, and I was here when it was great, and we've always gotten close to greatness, but we've never quite got it. But now we're going to, and we're starting by, it's not TNA anymore, it's Impact, even though every belt still says TNA on it because they haven't bought a new belt yet. And then they start slamming the prior regime, and then we have a segment where Dutch Mantel comes out and says, you may have known me as Zeb Coulter in the past, and here's all this talent that used to be here that was really good, and we're going to be good again. And they go through this slideshow behind him as he calls names of all the talent that's in WWE now. Joe and AJ. And I'm like, just shut up and prove it. Stop talking about it.
Oh, cool. I should be watching those people. Let me change the channel.
That was the entire premise of it. Was like, we had all this good talent and they're not here anymore, but we're gonna get to that point. We're gonna do that again. I'm like, no, show people what you have is good. And then they write the Hardys off, I guess, in what is the most logical way they possibly could have. They get teleported out of the universe somehow, and Decay is the tag titles. I don't know.
They gave them the Poochie send-off and the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie thing. Yeah. He went to his home planet and he died on arrival.
Right. Then at one point during the show, Cody comes running out with the GFW Next Gen title, which is still a thing, apparently. GFW is not just for buying and selling gold, ladies and gentlemen. And he's screaming, demanding to fight Moose, and everybody's like, Moose is in Japan. And he's just out there and screaming about it. Then he sits in the ring, and then he just gets up and leaves. I'm like, what is this? He starts screaming, I'm not leaving till Moose shows up. He sits down for what was easily a minute and a half and then stands up and leaves. I'm like, oh my God. Dude, it was so bad. I will not watch this week's. I even took the time when I watched this one. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna set my DVR to record it every week. That setting is no longer in my DVR because I don't know if I have too many brain cells or not enough brain cells to be able to process what the hell's going on with that promotion right now. But it is awful. And maybe they'll get it together in a month and I'll start hearing good things and I'll go back to it. But this was freaking terrible, man.
A lot of times, I mean, not to defend them or anything like that, but a lot of times, I mean, it takes a little bit of time when you're kind of rebuilding from the bottom up again. It's gonna take. It's like that early adopter. You can jump on early and go through the growing pains, or you can sit back and go, I'll catch you guys in 3 months and see how things are going, and it could be,
but
the best promotion around.
My thing with them though is like, how many times have they rebooted? How many times have they been like, no, all right, we got to try this again. This isn't working right. And it's just every time it ends poorly. I don't think this is going to be any different.
Well, everything before seemed to be with kind of the same people around, but with a new person involved. But now it seems to be a little bit more clean, maybe. I don't know.
It's Jeff Jarrett, though. Which is another reason I have no faith in it.
Slapping.
Anyway, so yeah, TNA or Impact is still a thing that exists. Hashtag for now.
You think they have like a swear jar that every time they say TNA they have to put $1 in there?
If they don't, I could tell you how they could get a swear jar, Tom.
How could they get a swear jar, JC?
Well, I'm sure the folks at Impact Wrestling and Anthem shop at Amazon.
Oh, absolutely. Who doesn't?
Right. And, you could find anything on it. You can find a swear jar or an empty jar that you want to decorate and the supplies to decorate it with to turn it. You could put owl feathers on it.
You could.
Right? And here's my suggestion to the management of Anthem and Impact Wrestling. If you want to buy a swear jar, here's how you need to do it. And this goes for everybody out there listening. Go to cheatersneverpin.com. And I have it on good authority tonight, which is Wednesday night. So by the time you listen to this on Thursday, it should be there. There's going to be a little button on the front page that says buy on Amazon. You click that button. It's going to take you to Amazon. It's going to look like Amazon. It's going to act like Amazon. make your purchases, your jar and your art supplies like you want to. But when you're all done, and for not costing you a penny extra, it's gonna kick a few schmeckles back to the old Cheaters Never Pin crew.
A schmeckel is less than a penny.
Shut up, Tom.
Just saying.
All right, it's a few schmeckles. However many schmeckles equals a penny. That's probably what we're getting. But we're gonna get some spare change.
I had no idea we were using Mary Poppins currency.
I didn't either. It just came out of my mouth. And I haven't even been drinking tonight. But yeah, go anytime you're gonna do your online shopping, go to cheatersneverpin.com. Click the buy on Amazon button. Shop like normal. It's not going to cost you an extra dime. And we get a little kickback from Amazon. And we appreciate you supporting our podcast and all of Section 328 in that way. Did you like that smooth transition into that plug, by the way?
That was beautiful. That was
yeah.
the part.
Tom, we're getting good at this podcasting thing.
We are. All we need is another, 60, 70 more?
Right? Yeah, we'll get there one day.
Yeah.
You know who's trying to get good? Here we go. You know who's trying to get good at building WrestleMania after 32 attempts? WWE.
Oh, I know them.
Yeah. So I guess a lot happened and not a lot happened this week to build Mania. Is that a fair assumption, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, we had a few matches set up, but the whole card hasn't been put completely forth yet.
The stuff we already knew was going to happen is starting to finally be confirmed.
Yeah. We've still got a few more weeks. I mean, it's not like the card's next week or anything like that. So there's not technically a rush on everything.
Well, next week is 2 weeks away, and I wouldn't imagine you'd want to add anything on the go-home shows. So,
yeah.
I mean...
anything that's going to be on there is going to be a pre-show or whatever.
Yep. So Roman and Taker is finally confirmed. Ooh,
yep.
Boy. In one of the best segments from Raw, Roman comes out, calls out Taker. Here comes Shawn Michaels to tell him, I'm on your side. You really shouldn't do this. And he's like, I don't really care. I'm Roman Reigns, baby girl. And he walks off and gets to the top of the ramp, turns to look at Michaels, he takes the best ramp bump I've ever seen, gets blindsided by Braun Strowman, rolls down the ramp off the side of the ramp, and gets wedged in between the barricade and the ramp, dead. Where
he still is to this day.
Oh my God, it was so good. I was so happy for that bump. And of course, what does the crowd do? Thank you, Strowman. Never get old. So that's happening. On SmackDown Live, the mixed tag with Maurice and The Miz and Nikki Bella and John Cena was finally confirmed. Woo! Hey, if they keep cutting hot promos like they have been, I'm all in.
Yeah, I mean it's actually it's a hot segment, and I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, I want to see it. It'll be a fun match. It'll be great. On 205 Live, Austin Aries won the Fatal 5-Way Elimination match to become the number one contender for the Cruiserweight title at Mania against Neville. Yay, Austin Aries.
And Austin coming back is probably the best thing that could have happened for the Cruiserweight series going into WrestleMania, because now you actually have two names going for the belt. You don't have not to knock TJ Perkins or even a Gallagher at this point, but WrestleMania is, as it's been said before, WrestleMania is not for us, so to speak. It's for the mainstream. And I mean, even still, where a guy like Austin Aries may not be as known to the mainstream audience that maybe hasn't seen TNA or Ring of Honor or things like that, still, it's a lot more name recognition than Noam Dar or someone like that. So it gives them a little star power for the WrestleMania card.
Aries was way over on Raw and way over on 205 Live this week, which, by the way, 205 Live this week was great, top to bottom. Yeah. That show is starting to find its stride finally.
which is great because no one's watching it.
Yep. Well, and they found their stride with the cruiserweights on Raw, too. They're giving them time. They're letting them wrestle the way they can and they should. So, yeah.
I mean, it's just a shame that 205 is recorded at such a horrible time.
Right.
I mean,
that's the only
they're
issue
still
with it.
stuck to the live thing, and it's not going to work for them.
No. I can see it changing at some point next year, and I'm totally cool with it. And then I guess the biggest single piece of news to come out of WWE TV this week, AJ viciously attacks Shane McMahon backstage at SmackDown Live, throws him through a car window. Daniel fires AJ Styles, whose profile on WWE.com is now in the alumni section. Kayfabe. And then at the very end of the show, a very dazed and confused Shane comes out and goes, AJ said he doesn't have a match for Mania. He does now. So it's happening.
Crowd pop.
Yeah, I got a pop. Which, I mean, that's fine. I knew it would get a pop, but whatever. I mean, it'll be a great car crash match. I'm not worried about it. It'll be fun. I don't really, whatever. It's Mania. I'll enjoy it.
And not for nothing, but in that little segment where AJ beat up Shane did what he did best. He bumped.
Oh my God, I kept wondering, I've watched it 2 or 3 times. Well, between watching it on Talking Smack and the 8 replays on SmackDown and the YouTube videos of it and stuff, like, there were a couple times I was like, is he potatoing him? Like, Shane bumping hard, but that's what he does. He's Shane O'Mac. He's got to get daddy's love, man.
And Shane probably would ask him to do that. I mean, that's one of the things that he seems to do, though. I mean, he doesn't want to piss off the locker room and do like light spots or anything like that. I mean, that was always the thing with him in the dressing room earlier on, kind of the Attitude Era, when he was doing those ridiculous spots in those matches. Was he didn't want somebody to go light on him. He wanted to do all the spots, and it was okay, don't take it easy on me, that type of thing. So
yeah. It was a good segment. I'm now excited for this match too, because I can't help but be excited for everything because it's on WrestleMania.
I mean, it's fine. We have title matches. AJ doesn't need to be in a title match.
No, AJ is a talent that doesn't need to be it's great when he holds a championship because it's a recognition of the talent that he is, but he's so over and he's so respected that having a strap on him at any point in time is not a necessity to continue to get him over.
And it's not a thing of like, oh, we're disrespecting him in the sense that we're putting him in the first hour or putting him in the pre-show or something like that. They're not Rybacking him or anything like that. They're giving him a high-profile match.
Oh, yeah. He's facing McMahon. Take that for what it is. And the thing is, too, you got to remember how much bigger the roster is than this time last year. How, now we have 2 brands and double the titles. Or we have 3 brands, I should say, and double the titles and everything. So it's, it's a weird situation, and this is a good spot for him. I'm not upset with it. Like I was 3 to 4 weeks ago when you probably heard me ranting on this very podcast about it. I'm totally cool with it now.
Yeah, wrestling McMahon is a high vaunted thing that you can only get if you're like a Shawn Michaels or an Undertaker or a Steve Blackman.
Or Steve Austin.
I'm unfamiliar with his work.
I'll have to show you sometime.
Oh, Stunning Steve Austin.
Yeah, that guy, the
Hollywood
Blondes. Yep, you nailed it. Did the camera motion when he came out?
Yeah.
All right, Tom, you ready to move on to the 10 count?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. 10 things in wrestling that you may have missed this week or we just thought you needed to know about. Number 1, Lucha Underground seasons 1 and 2 are now available on Netflix.
Probably the best way to watch them because you can burn through them. I mean, if there's ever something to binge watch, Lucha Underground's one of those things.
Especially now, I fell way hard out of it really early this season 3, the one that's in hiatus right now. Seasons 1 and 2 are great, especially Ultima Lucha in season 1. I don't want to say anything because I know a lot of people don't have El Rey and haven't seen it and didn't buy it on iTunes. But it's good. You'll love it.
And it should be in the actual HD and not that weird El Rey kind of HD
right.
that is kind of squishy, and I don't know. It just annoys the hell out of me. When I used to watch on DirecTV, it just never seemed right. So,
but if you're looking for something to watch on Netflix, and you love wrestling, watch Lucha Underground. It's truly a show about a wrestling company.
Yeah,
with lots of good wrestling.
Yeah, and it's something that may pull in if you have friends that aren't huge into wrestling, but they're into kind of the weird kind of almost like soap opera type of
soap opera meets comic books meets sci-fi meets. I mean, you've got a Rocket Man and a dragon, and there's a guy that's been has 1,000 lives in his. I can't. I don't want. Never mind. I almost kept going listing characters, and they were all spoilers. I realized.
If you've ever flipped on the Spanish station and seen the soap operas that they have and go, damn, I wish I understood what they were saying and I could watch them. That's pretty much what Lucha Underground is.
Yeah, watch it. It's good. Number 2. So there was did you see this tweet from WWE today, Tom?
Oh, I'm so excited for this.
So WWE, the main account, sends out a tweet that says, coming this Friday, #SRW, with a video attached to it that appears to be a trailer for some sort of comedy spoof of 80s Southern Territory wrestling called Southpaw Regional Wrestling. And it's all the superstars dressed as the commentators and the talent and everything. And it looks like the best awful parody you could do of 1980s territory wrestling.
I mean, and I give WWE credit when they want to parody something, they can do a pretty good job of it when they want to. So I'm really looking forward to this. I mean, just because stuff like you look at Smoky Mountain and I'm sure they'll probably get a little Crockett, references in there too, but just territorial wrestling in general from the 80s and that type of thing. It's just, I'm interested to see the takes and what they end up doing with this.
And there's tons of talent in it from the video. Usually when they do these weird YouTube things, it's like Zack Ryder, but it is Cena's there and Rusev is there. It's great. Go find the little trailer thing that dropped and watch it. It's amazing. Number 3. This week's announcement for Hall of Fame inductee was for the Warrior Award, which is going to former Rutgers football player Eric LeGrand, who's the motivational speaker who was paralyzed from the neck down after a game after a really rough hit, has worked and regained minimal movement, but way more than anyone ever thought he would be able to do. Now works as a motivational speaker, has an arm of the Christopher Reeve Foundation. All around great guy. I know this is, the argument comes up every year about this award. This is not what Warrior intended to be for this award, but this award is a PR award, and you know what? There's no one better that deserves it than this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what technically the classification is for the award outside of the fact that it's an inspirational person and that's who we're supposed to give it to. Pretty much it. And, I mean, it's not like Eric LeGrand has any real connection to the WWE except for the fact that he's a fan. And that's pretty much your connection right there. Yeah. But, I mean, it's a good story. He's down with it. And, there's no harm in it, so
he's a good speaker. It'll be good speech.
Yeah.
Number 4, Jerry Lawler has said he can't get cleared to wrestle again. Surprise, surprise. I wonder why. But he does want to get cleared so he can have a farewell match at WrestleMania against Dolph Ziggler. That could be your entire thought, just that side. Because that's how I feel.
Jerry, it's over, man. Like,
I love him. I don't want him to die in the ring. We all saw that once, Jerry.
I mean, we saw it damn near a couple of times, I thought. I mean,
True.
and understand, Jerry's 67 right now. And, I mean, when you're getting it at that age, I don't know how well he's staying in shape. I mean, from a working out standpoint, I mean, it's one thing to be, taking your morning walks every day and just staying in general good shape for being, a senior citizen.
Right.
It's another thing to actually be in like
Ring shape.
Ring shape.
Yep.
And to go in and to say like, okay, go in to say make a Royal Rumble appearance, kind of run around for 30 seconds and then get dumped over the top rope is one thing. To actually do any kind of match, even if it's like a 5-minute long match, you're really kind of pushing it. And I understand Ziggler could carry him, but Jerry, buddy, come on.
Yeah. Also Ziggler, really? Lol. Number 5. Io Shirai from Stardom had a tryout with the other people that were trying out at the Performance Center this week. Please sign her. Sign her now. You've already signed Kari Hojo. I don't know why she didn't have to try out, but please sign Io Shirai. Thank you very much.
So is she the leg drop one, or is that the other one that you mentioned?
Kari Hojo's the leg drop.
Hojo. All right. Yeah, because I saw that people got signed, and I started looking up names, and I saw the Kari Hojo one, and I was like, oh, it has a great leg drop. Oh, let me see the leg drop. Oh, my God, that thing is wonderful.
Yeah, Shirai's so good. So, sign her now.
Yeah, give people somebody, give Asuka somebody to fight.
She's got way more. Asuka shouldn't share the ring with her.
But what I'm saying is no one's letting her lose, so put somebody.
I'll just beat her on March 26th. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Number 6, Jack Swagger was granted his release by WWE this week. Happy trails.
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything with the WWE, and his style is better suited for elsewhere. I mean, I could see him doing Ring of Honor potentially, but he's probably going overseas, and they're going to love him over there.
Well, he's also said he wants to do MMA. Lol.
Well, you can do that one match and then go to Japan. And I mean,
sign with UFC, don't fight for 2 years, take a real crap fight, get beat real fast. The path's been laid out for you, Jack.
I mean, if he really wants to do Japan, he can do MMA in Japan while still doing actual pro wrestling too.
Yeah, he could go over and do Ryzen. Just do Ryzen. Done.
I mean, if Inoki were still in charge, he'd be all over him, man.
Oh, yeah. Number 7, WWE announced they're doing more tapings, or they're doing tapings centered around the UK Championship on May 6th and 7th. Exciting.
Well, we have to do something with it, don't we?
Yeah, this has been quite the lull. And I think they're moving faster because Anthem's over there trying to make a deal, and the World of Sport thing is still getting off the ground, so they're trying to wrangle up some talent.
I don't think it really helped that much, too, that, they kind of put everything, together with the UK belt and that type of thing, but then did that with all this kind of build to WrestleMania, too. So it's like, all right, well, you had the UK belt, we'll work on it, but it's kind of on our back burner because we've got everything focused on our big show. So,
I would assume we see Tyler Bate defend that strap on the NXT show, right?
Yeah.
That belt has to make an appearance at some point Saturday or Sunday.
I mean, ideally it should make an appearance on the actual WrestleMania show, but that card is going to be so packed, there's not going to be room for him. Yeah. So might as well put it on NXT World, where the match itself will be appreciated and the crowd will be more familiar.
Exactly. Number 8, both Finn Balor and Hideo Itami returned at house shows this week. One, of course, to the main roster and one to NXT.
Well, I can tell your excitement, at least with the Finn Balor return.
Yes. Somebody was cutting onions near me when I saw that video.
Hideo Itami, I don't even know what to think with it. I mean, I loved Kenta back in the day, and I wasn't really watching NXT that much when Hideo Itami came over, and then he got hurt pretty much when I started to get into it. And that's been a very long time.
Well, he finally started to get momentum. I guess it would have been WrestleMania 31 when he won that mini tournament they had at Access for one NXT person to go to the Andre Battle Royal. They were starting to kind of get him over and get him warmed up. His English was getting better. Like, the crowd was warming up to him, which, everyone loved him and knew who he was, but the crowd wasn't super hot for him.
Right.
And so it was starting to warm up there, and then he had the first injury, and then he was out for way longer than anyone thought he would be, and then he came back for that real short, brief period, got the second injury. Poor guy. Well,
I remember he was supposedly going to take the strap from Kevin Owens when they did the NXT tour of Japan, where they had it was the takeover in Japan, wasn't it?
It was Beast in the East.
Okay, yeah. So when that title change was going to happen over there, that's what it was going to be. It was going to be Tommy was going to take the belt over in Japan, and he ended up getting hurt beforehand. So, yeah.
It worked out better in the end.
So you say.
I can promise you.
Okay.
Number 9, Edge and Christian are launching a podcast. The Edge and Christian
it's like
Podcast of Awesomeness. They're copying us.
Any two idiots can have a podcast.
Right? They just let anybody. It's like you can just put it up there and people find it.
On iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, YouTube, or on Spreaker.
Oh, God. Tom, you got it. Amazing. All right, you're number 10. We promised you sad. Also, this will take a few minutes, so that's why I put it last. Dennis Stamp of, sad to put it this way, but independent wrestler of Beyond the Mat fame is probably what he's most well known for. Passed away this week at the age of 68 from cancer.
He's been booked by God.
Yeah. Dennis Stamp most remembered for showing up to the Terry Funk retirement match in Beyond the Mat to learn he's not booked, and Terry got him booked to be the referee. There's the famous scene of him training, holding the weights, jumping on the trampoline, because you never know when you're going to get booked.
I like how you have to say the Terry Funk retirement match in Beyond the Mat, because there are like 37 ones that you can pick from.
That was the first one. Well, I just gotta have my retirement match. Just one more. I don't know why he doesn't sound anything like that.
I don't know why he sounds like the pedophile dude from Family Guy, but
yeah. Anyway, yeah, real sad. I know the guy won gold in tag teams and stuff throughout the indies, and it's kind of super depressing that he's remembered for being this kind of lovable loser guy from Beyond the Mat.
Oh, but, I was gonna say it's a generational thing, because I mean, at his age, I mean, he wrestled primarily in the 70s. I mean, like when the 80s came around, he was kind of a jobber guy. But I mean, in the 70s, which was his like wrestling prime, I mean, he was a regional guy. I mean, just the same way that everybody was a regional guy back then for the most part. So he did well in his area. And I mean, he made a pretty good living for himself. And I forget what I was reading, but it was one article about his passing, and somebody had pointed out the very end part of the write-up, which just said he died surrounded by his family, and they're like, yeah, you don't get a lot of that in pro wrestling. So
yeah. And I guess I was listening to Meltzer the other day, and I guess he had been very sick a couple of years ago with cancer, had actually fought it off, and this was just a reoccurrence that had happened right before the holidays, I believe. So it's real sad. an icon in the business, but for totally different reasons than we usually talk about an icon in the business.
Yeah, and I mean, and pretty much any worker that has dealt with him, from what I've seen or read, has spoke very positively of him. So,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, that segment from Beyond the Mat's kind of just, it's just the weirdness of wrestling, but
yeah. But thoughts and prayers to his family and friends and close ones in this time. But yeah, it's sad, but it's part of the business.
Well, cancer's not part of the business.
Well, everybody dies as part of the business. It's part
Wrestling
of every
doesn't
business.
give you cancer, does it?
I don't know. Doesn't everything give you cancer these days?
Yeah, probably.
Watching Impact might. Yikes. All right. Well, before this spins further out of control, Tom, tell the people where they can find you on the internet.
If you really want to, just hop over to the twitter.com and look for @Mr. Workrate, MR Workrate. You can find me on Facebook if you really want to stare at pictures of my children, but I'm not going to friend you anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm on Instagram and what's the one that you're supposed to send people naked pictures on? Snapchat. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, I'm on those things, but yeah,
you can do it through Instagram Direct as well. But
Oh, okay. Well, you're just advanced with all this stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll blow through those there. So if you really want to see me, or talk to me or whatever, just do it through Twitter, because I'm not paying attention to those other things.
Right. You can find me on Twitter @JCBobbitt, JCBOBBITT. Also occasionally on the Instagram, I'll put stuff there. I'm sure both of those, as well as the Snapchat, will be fully functioning and draining my phone battery for the entirety of WrestleMania weekend, where Tom and I are going to have to record a whole lot of shows to make that work.
We're just gonna leave a recording thing on and just randomly pass by, and
we're just gonna stream for 72 hours.
Sponsored by Haichu.
So, okay, I'm in. So far to that end, by the way, Mania weekend. Maybe I've told Tom this. I don't know. I'm not committing to this at this time. But here's the current plan I have. We'll do a podcast Saturday night immediately after NXT. We'll cover Hall of Fame and NXT. That'll be an hour of material. We'll have to do one Sunday immediately after Mania to cover the 3.5 days worth of Mania that are taking place. And then we'll go back on Wednesday and record our regular show covering Raw and SmackDown after. Oh, God, help me.
Because, as you know, the Raw after Mania is usually one of the biggest Raws of the year.
Well,
so
SmackDown will be the same way now, too, in the brand
split.
Split.
Are we doing trades? And
especially since they're both live and they're both going to be in Orlando. So, yeah. Strap in, kids. It'll be a fun weekend. We'll have a fun weekend here in Raleigh anyway. The NHL 100 celebration will be in town. So that'll give me a chance to do non-wrestling related things for a couple of hours that weekend.
They're bringing the Stanley Cup.
I know. I'm excited. Yeah, and if you want to listen to podcasts related to hockey, go visit our friends Mike and Derek over at Cheaters Never Win. You probably should like the Carolina Hurricanes, or at least tolerate them like we all do.
Yeah.
But yeah, go listen to them too. Part of the Section 328 family of podcasts. They're
recording as we speak, probably right now.
Yep. And as far as this show, the one you're listening to right now, give us the big blue thumbs up on Facebook, Facebook.com/CheatersNeverPin. Follow the show on Twitter @CheatersNeverPin, Cheaters in VR Pin. Rate, review, and subscribe. Go give us 5 stars, please. And you can find this podcast wherever fine podcasts are held, such as iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, YouTube, and stream us on Spreaker.
I think he covered them all.
Got him. Still waiting on that iHeart approval. We gonna get there.
I still don't know what. I don't know. iHeart still sounds like Delilah or something like that should introduce us.
I think she's on that platform. But anyway, that's our show. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So that was a fun one. We did a good one, Tom.
I think we just hit an hour.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Well, we're going to go sleep in preparation for Mania. Because I think we need to start now.
Yeah, we'll go shop for some 5-hour energy or whatever product they're selling with WWE nowadays.
Right.
They still make Stacker 2?
No, I think it's banned.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Have a wonderful week of wrestling, and we will catch you again next week.
Take it easy, y'all.